Hello and welcome to my channel, AB Make It Artwork, where we do what we do to make that artwork for you. And if you're new to my channel, maybe hit that subscribe button, join the AB Creative crew. We do sketchy art things. If you happen to follow me on Instagram, I post there the most frequently, by the way, you would know that I've been really into the Draw This in Your Style challenge, and I did about 7 different Draw This in Your styles. The first one comes from Unicorn. They are an artist that I follow on Instagram who has a lot of OCs and a couple of different storylines. This character right here is their original character Mona, which comes from a series that's sort of a comic. I don't know if they have a comic of the series, but it focuses on a sort of circus troupe, performing troupe. And Mona, from what I can tell, is a fortune teller of the troupe. And I just loved the design. I liked the colors. They're very warm. I'm always very attracted to warm color palettes. And I don't know, I just kind of wanted to draw the sultry looking gypsy lady that is, I shouldn't say that word. I forget, about that word, but the sultry looking fortune teller that is Mona. And she's very, very pretty. And throughout this process, I think most of them I used the airbrush tool to create my line work, to color in most of the piece, and just overall work and rework and do my stuff with. And I really like the appearance. I really like how strong Mona looks, and I like how soft the lines are though too. It's just a whole lot of fun just working around, playing around, drawing characters in my style. Because for the longest time I've questioned whether or not I do have a style, if it was even important if I had a style. And by doing this challenge, I realized that yes, I do have a certain way that I like to draw things, and this in essence is my style. And looking back of when I was doing Digital Drawcember, and when I was kind of first getting into using Procreate to show videos of me drawing in my drawing process, way back in November, oh my gosh, the improvement is crazy. That was pretty crazy. Maybe I should talk about the artist. The artist, Unicorn, they have a lot of different OCs. They have a lot of LGBT-friendly OCs. I think most of the characters that I've seen from them have been either gender fluid, gender ambiguous. One of their most reoccurring characters, I believe, is trans, female to male, and identifies as male. And Yuna tends to draw in a very masculine sort of way, in that most of her characters do have a very strong jawline, broad shoulders, narrow hips, and I don't think they do it on purpose. It's just that's sort of the nature of their gender ambiguous characters, and I really appreciate them for that. I like their stylized look of having the strong angular features, the strong jawlines, the sort of broad shoulders and narrow hips, and it's fun. I like their art. They have really nice color choices, and they post pretty frequently, so if you want to follow them, you can find them on Instagram. Most of these artists you can find on Instagram, by the way. Some of them you can also find on Twitter, and I'll mention which ones have both accounts, or even more accounts if I can think of any other accounts that they might have. But yeah, the trickiest part for me actually was that little flower, the little rose, that I didn't realize was a rose until kind of belatedly. But I think I managed to figure it out pretty alright. I liked everything about the colors in this piece. And I realized, I don't know if Mona actually can see with her eyes. I think she tends to use future vision, or just, I don't know. part of me sees some of the art and like feels like it's hinted that she's not able to see with her eye, but she has like really pretty golden glowy eyes. But yeah, my favorite parts were the outfit, obviously the luscious lips, and the eyes. I also like the glow on the headband. But that was the first draw this in your style prompt that I did, which was Unicorn's character, Mona. Now, this was the second one, and the person whose original character that this is an alien Cupcake. And I found the prompt through Twitter, actually, because this has been a very popular style challenge on Twitter as well as Instagram. I don't know about DeviantArt. I haven't posted these on DeviantArt yet, but I will be later today or sometime in this week. I'm really bad about that. But I thought it was like really cute, very simplistic palette. Whoa. Sorry, that was my phone going off. It was very cute, very simplistic palette, very kind of pop, kind of 90s look, very retro alien girl. And I just thought the character was like super cute. Again, I am using the airbrush tool, the airbrush brush in Procreate. I think it's the hard one, but the smaller hard one in the airbrush collection. And I tend to keep it at like a slightly lower opacity so that I can build up the lines, is what I was doing from the get-go. And I forgot the little separation of neck to tube top. It was a little hard trying to keep the hair simplified because I realized that I couldn't do the usual amount of shadow or detail that I would like to do in hair to say like, oh, this is wavy curly hair, because I found that with the really bright green color of the original piece's hair, it just wasn't gonna work. It was gonna look really kind of muddled and I just couldn't fix it with the colors. So I was like, I've got to scrap the multiply layers and just keep the highlights and just keep the little shaded area under the hair where it's just in the background. This one actually is my most liked piece out of the Draw This in Your Style series. At I think over 70 likes on Instagram. Yeah, this one has the most likes out of all the pieces thus far, which is kind of surprising because I don't think it's the best, but like also very understandable because it's very different from the rest of them with its really nice kind of retro 90s color palette and very simplified patterns and whatnot. Oh, and it's adorable because she had like a little heart, well, not a heart, it's a star eye shine, and I just wanted to really incorporate that into the piece. But I don't know, like very simple, super cute, very clean, and I don't know, it was kind of one of the faster pieces. But this was the final product of an alien Draw This in Your Style prompt. And I don't know, she's a cutie. This next one is from EJ Noodles. I found their prompt through Twitter again. And so they have a Twitter and they have an Instagram account. I really like this one because it had a very simplified palette, again, like the last piece. A couple of these had very simplified palettes where it's like maybe 2 or 3 colors in total. So it's limited, but it's also nice. I think my favorite parts of this piece is how the hands came out. Well, the hands and the arms for the most part. And other bits I wish kind of were better, but overall, well, I like the first hand that's resting on the face. That one was really good. But I liked the sharp contrast of a bunch of cold colors or cool tones and the bright kind of pop of red of the skin. I probably could have corrected it so that it looked more natural, but when it came to doing the Draw This in Your Style prompts, I really wanted to kind of focus on getting the characters to look like the original poster's characters and keeping those color palettes in mind. So it's like I didn't go and like find colors that look similar to them. I just took the color picker tool picked out the colors on the piece and then used those colors for coloring. Now when it comes to shading or with a multiply layer or adding highlight with an add layer, I would sometimes change the colors up if need be, from being the same color to maybe a slightly brighter color towards the warmer spectrum if it was a highlight, and a darker color towards the cooler spectrum if it was a shadow. And that's something I like to do in most instances. Like if I have a shadow, I like to lean it towards cooler tones. If it's highlight, I like to lean it towards warmer tones, unless per se the character is a cool toned character and the warm tone will kind of muddy it. I don't know, it's art stuff. It's the science of art. Was I super successful in this one? Not as much. I do love how some of the shines on the hair look. I really enjoy that. And some of my favorite things is always like adding highlight or highlighter to the cheeks of a character, as well as like the glossy highlights onto the mouth. But something I really love working on are the eyes, because I like the shadows and the highlights and how I do eyes. And I managed to actually make enough pieces to also submit a picture for the eyes meme, which was also pretty fun to see. Like, oh, I do have like a reoccurring way that I draw eyes that can be noticed and seen by other people and be like recognized. But yeah, this was EJ Noodles' piece for the Draw This in Your Style challenge. I don't know, it was pretty fun. Pretty nice, pretty simple, pretty fun. Ha ha ha. Thinking. Oh. I think this is the last one that I'm going to show you for today, because I've got 3 more prompts that I did, but I'm saving those for another video. If I had shown them all at once, oh my gosh, you guys would have been like stuck here for half an hour, maybe longer. But this piece is by ChubbyEscalante. They are an artist on Twitter and Instagram. I liked their piece because of all of the warmer colors. Like, yes, there are some notes of like cooler colors with a little bit of teal, but it's like all the yellows and the reds and the peachy tone with that bright pop of the teal. It was just like very beach girl vibes. And I liked the idea of her having these kind of slitted irises. I think actually when it came to the line art for this piece, I used a different brush. I used the 6B pencil, I believe, so that the lines would have some texture, as well as just like it was easier to build and make the lines if I used the pencil for this piece. So it's like it has that little bit of texture, and I don't know, I thought it felt like it suited more so the style of the original poster, ChubbyEscalante. I hope I'm saying that right. I might be butchering a name. I don't know. I'm bad with names. But this is when I kind of deviated from using the airbrush, because as much as I loved using the airbrush, there were too many small details that would have been a pain in the butt to try to like rework, make a new layer, rework, make new layer, all that stuff. And I don't know. Like I said, I really loved the warm colors of this character, and I wanted to kind of break away from doing the same pose, well, just a little bit, by like pushing her back a little bit, having a bit more of the body showing, and maybe suggesting that she's wearing a wrap lower down with her over the shoulder tube tap thing. I like the stripes. I like all the stripes. I like the color of the shirt and the little wrap. I thought it was really, really cute. And freckles. I love, if you ever want like a really good brush suggestion for like making freckles, go to the spray paint collection in Procreate. If you are indeed using Procreate, I like either using Flicks or Splatter. Flicks tends to have a better, more natural spacing of dots for freckles, and I think it looks super, super cute, honestly. um, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Oh, what else can I say? There's not much else to say. Here we are working on like the shadows and all that stuff. Back to the style thing actually. I realize that I do have a very kind of defined style for how I draw when it comes to digital art, and I do want to explore that a lot more, as well as explore some other brushes. And, like, my work's kind of angular, but it's also very soft in its angles. And I have a very particular way that I like to draw eyes, and I have a very particular way that I love to draw eyebrows, actually, which is with the airbrush tool, erasing it a little bit to keep the one shape, and then adding little hairs with the pencil tool. But yeah, this was the final piece that you're going to see for today by ChubbyEscalante. Now, I have my own entry for you guys to do for Draw This in Your Style. This is my character, my OC Doric. If you want to join in, you can draw my male character and hashtag it with Draw This in Your Style and hashtag Draw Doric in Your Style. If you want to find me on any of my other social media, links are in the description down below for my DeviantArt, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and Pinterest for references. I hope you're having a wonderfully creative day wherever you are, and as always, make sure to do what you do to make that artwork for you. Bye!